Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're going to be restarting the Loadout series on my channel. It's taken a 9-month hiatus, not because I don't like the series, but simply because Battlefield 1 really didn't have enough interesting weapon variety when it first came out to maintain the series. Some people said I should continue it with Battlefield 4, but I wasn't really playing BF4 as much, so I decided just to sort of put it on the back burner until the Battlefield game supported the series once again. Well, we've had 3 DLCs with Battlefield 1 since launch. We've had a whole bunch of new weapons added to the game and even some new soldier specializations that we can throw into the mix to add a bit of variety. So once again, I think Loadout has enough customization and options to make the series entertaining and interesting. And I figured, why not just pick up with a comment from 9 months ago? Sure, it's not incorporating any of the new DLC weapons yet, but that's something you guys can do in today's video. And remember, you guys, the viewers, get to pick a weapon and customization for me to use. All you have to do is leave a comment down below letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. And a small disclaimer, since we're starting the series back up again, generally speaking, I don't pick troll loadouts. I try and pick something that either represents a realistic loadout in real life and we see if that's effective, or just some sort of loadout that you think would be really effective that not a lot of people have been trying. This series is less about trolling and more about learning about different weapon loadouts and things that could be effective. Today's top comment comes from Eric Mongue, who says, "I don't trust Magazine's loadout. We'll be running with the Mondragon primary," and I used several variations of this throughout the video. The C96 sidearm, a medkit and syringe standard complement for a medic, and then we'll have the bolo knife. And then he says, "You are no stranger to war, but you are to modern devices. When defending a trench with the show shot LMG, the magazine jammed, leaving you to switch to your tried and true C96 and stripper clips. You lost 7 men that day and you're not going to lose another. Use the Mondragon to slay your enemies at a distance and switch to your C96 up close. Make sure to keep your team alive with the medkits and syringe." Alright, so here we are back in the thick of it, playing on Achibaba, which is probably not a great map for the Mondragon. It's okay, but you gotta be careful with it. I was using the sniper a bit and switching between the sniper and the storm variant of this weapon. Sometimes when I was forced into close for medium range combat, I felt that the storm was just a little bit easier to track my enemies, as the zoom on the Mondragon sniper is fairly substantial, and I just found it much better for medium and long range engagements. Really though, this weapon is all about setting yourself up for the appropriate engagement distance. You're not doing yourself any favors by using this weapon in close quarters and aggressive medic gameplay. You want to put your target at medium long range distance, far enough away so that assault classes are relatively ineffective against you. Support classes should have a hard time hitting you accurately and reliably, and your biggest threats are going to be other medics and snipers. That's where this weapon is going to excel. It does good damage at range, it has good accuracy at range, so use it there. You're not doing yourself any favors in CQB, and in fact the C96 pistol is a bit easier to use in close quarter trench-like scenarios, and I did use that a bit. There's no avoiding close quarter combat in Battlefield 1, but staying in the back lines and playing on maps that had longer sight lines, I was able to take out targets at a range, stay alive, and revive my teammates whenever possible. Taking a look at the Mondragon stats, we can see that it is a constant 3-shot kill, whether it's close quarters or long range. More damage in close quarters, of course, so if your opponent's a little bit damaged, you can down him in 1 or 2 shots. It does make sense to go for a headshot with this weapon if you can. You can lower your time to kill by 2 shots, which is nice. It has a very fast muzzle velocity of 800 meters per second, so you really don't have to lead much when shooting at running targets. And it has a rate of fire of 257 rounds per minute. Not particularly fast, faster than some medic rifles out there, but it does suffer from a 10-round magazine. That means at max, even if you're hitting all your shots, you're pretty much going to get 3 kills per mag, and that is very, very uncommon. I would say 2 kills per mag is pretty generous in most cases. I'll find myself reloading after pretty much every single kill. The reload on this weapon is a bit rough, I'm not gonna lie. So you have 10 rounds and it reloads 5-round stripper clips. So if you shoot off, say, 7 rounds, you're going to do 1 stripper clip and 2 bullets manually. If you shoot up 9 out of 10 rounds, which I found to be fairly common, you'll reload 1 stripper clip and then 4 bullets manually. It can take quite a while. Sometimes it makes sense to try and reload when you have 5 rounds left or when you have shot all 10 rounds to get to reload a little bit faster. That's probably my biggest gripe against this weapon, is the ammo capacity and the reload speed is a bit much to deal with. Comparing this gun directly with the 26 round capacity Sebstelator M1916, it's only got a slightly slower rate of fire and everything else seems to be somewhat on par. So if you're okay with sacrificing your rate of fire a little bit to have over double the ammo capacity, it might end up being a lot more effective. And I think a lot of people do prefer the high ammo capacity medic rifles because it just takes you out of the action so much when you have to fire off 5 to 7 rounds, then go reload and hide behind some cover. You're not able to provide sustained fire against the enemy. Now that being said, the Mondragon sniper really is kind of the ultimate max range medic rifle. There's been a lot of really cool new additions to the medic arsenal with the DLC weapons, but none of them provide the same ranged effectiveness that can really compete with the Mondragon sniper. So this is like as close as you can get to a counter sniper weapon for the medic class. It's not for everybody, especially if you're not into the whole sniping scene. It's not going to be for you, but that is basically specifically what this weapon is designed for. I used to hold it in much higher regards, but now that there's been a lot of really good additions to the medic class, I think some of those other weapons have really taken my attention away from the Mondragon since then. It's not like the weapon isn't good anymore, it's just that there's a lot more very effective medic rifles. This is a class that seems to be much more easily thwarted by good suppression from an enemy player. So once you get suppressed, staying and trying to maintain an engagement with an enemy puts you at a huge disadvantage, where other weapons that are a little bit more rapid fire, spray and pray seem to be a bit less affected by it. You need to have perfect accuracy with this weapon, otherwise you're just standing there shooting inaccurate shots while you're taking fire from the enemy. Now, as far as sidearms go, the C96 is just blah. It's such a bad sidearm. Don't ever use the C96. I mean, if you love it for whatever reason, then fine, but I promise you it's only because you like the look of it or the aesthetics or something, because it's not a good handgun. It's only got 10 rounds in a magazine. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage per shot, and it's got a crappy reload. The medic has one of the best revolvers in the game, the auto revolver. That is an absolutely excellent medic weapon to use. Plus there's a lot of other really good universal sidearms like the 1911 or the Obrez, and so you just have so many better sidearm options. The C96 is cool looking and has historical significance, but beyond that, I wouldn't recommend it for any class or loadout. However, it is still a more effective close quarter weapon than the Mondragon, because you have to get 3 shots with the Mondragon, you have to get 4 shots with the C96. The C96 shoots faster, has better hipfire accuracy. It's just a more reliable weapon to use in extreme close quarter combat. So in that sense, it is still a preferable weapon to use in CQB. Now, picking the ideal map for the Mondragon sniper might seem like it's easy. You just pick something with long range, but I gotta say, at extreme ranges, you're gonna start losing out to a lot of the bolt action snipers in this game. So you want to pick medium long range, and a lot of infantry intensive maps can set you up for that pretty well. As you can see, I'm using the Iron Sights version here on Suez Canal just because the range seemed to come in a little bit closer, or I needed to do a little bit more indoor fighting. So Suez can be a good map for it. You just got to be aware of your engagement distances. I think maps like St. Quentin Scar that offer you a lot of medium to long-ish range sight lines, and you can avoid some of the extreme sniper sight lines if you need to, are great maps for this gun. Super close quarters, you're going to want to end up using something like the Fedorov Optimite. You really need to put this weapon at range, otherwise there's just no point in using it. Nivelle Knights and Parts seems like it's a good opportunity for this weapon, but as soon as you get into the trenches and you cross the sort of bigger no man's land areas, then the weapon becomes less effective. So many of these maps have areas that would be really good for the Mondragon sniper, but it's not that much of an adaptable weapon. You really kind of have to play this gun to its strengths. It's one of the last weapons I'd like to have in close quarter combat, so just keep that in mind, and if you realize that you're going into the trenches, maybe it's time to switch switch it up to something a little more aggressive. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's episode of Loadout. Remember to leave your comments for next week's episode down below. We have many new guns to pick from, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.